Hi Preethi, it's Ivan here. So it's time to give you your feedback. We're gonna do something a little different here. Is because I scanned through, because you fell into that little trap there, that little glitch, where your entire presentation was just this one page, the thing that happened to Vivian. I'm gonna go back here and just look at some of your slides. So let's start here with your slides. Okay, so first of all, I love this slide. It's great. I'm not really sure what it's going about, but you're talking about the idea of questioning if you have enough time in your hands, I think, which is great.
Okay.
Mm, another really good slide. I love that there's just not even any writing here, which is great. You could have made, just so you know, to take it to the next level, from an aesthetic point of view, we could have had this being like, what if this picture was even that white part was the picture, so that your menu is on top of the picture, and then the colors matched. I like to stay away from this blue because this is the default blue from Word. It's like whenever you make a shape, it always makes it this weird blue color. Uh, and so I can tell that you didn't put any time into changing the colors to fit the overall presence of your deck. That's a minor point because this looks really nice. Responsibility, authority, task, and that's a role. And wherever you got this picture, that's great. Mm-hmm. Title and role. Perfect. So title. I mean, I think in general you have, because these slides on their own would not have done the job, but with you speaking, I think you really succeeded on doing the slides with the lazy rule and the picture superiority effect. The only other thing I would say to get it to the next level is, why not have this first slide be something else? Why not have that first slide be your picture of the girl with the clocks? Aren't you, don't they know who they're talking to? Isn't, I know it's assignment B. Also, your menu shouldn't be on your title page, right? So you got to find a way to do that out. And that could just be putting a shape over all of this, right? Pitching a new job, promotion, current organization. You could have said that. What if you would have done your presentation right away with a question, and and the pictures part is also like not giving away the answer. Take us to the next level, wouldn't it? I think this is where we're starting.
Update meeting support. All right, Preethi, you can take it away.
Here we go.
Okay, thank you. So, for my assignment, I'm going to be doing a pitch for a new job, or more so a promotion in my current organization.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, in real life, I would probably be presenting this to my president and CEO, the person I support. So,
Here we go.
do you feel that you never have enough time? Are
I like this, and I know I'm stopping you right away. Preeti, my memory of you doing this pitch was that it was very good. Okay? But I want to show you just a little. I like to throw in these little ideas. This sounds very delivered, right?
Alrighty.
Sorry.
All right, Preethi, you can take it away.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you. So, for my assignment, I'm going to be doing a pitch for a new job, or more so a promotion in my current organization. And uh, in real life, I would probably be presenting this to my president and CEO, the person I support.
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, do you feel that you never have enough time?
I like it. It's just so general and it sounds a little delivered, right? So what if you went like, when was the last time you finished everything you wanted to in one day? When was the last time you finished everything? Or When was the last time? Oh, something like that. I just sorry. When was the last time you finished everything you wanted to in a day? When was the last time you felt like you had more than enough time to finish a task? Just maybe a little more specific. What you said is fine. I just a little, just another alternative.
Are you anxious, frustrated, sometimes even a little burnt out at times?
When was the last time you were frustrated because you really needed to get something done, but you didn't have enough time? If this was actually us having a conversation, you could say, do you remember 3 weeks ago when you really wanted to get something done before your flight, but you couldn't? I could see it. That was super frustrating, wasn't it?
I can understand that because as a leader, everyone wants your time. And you want your time as well to be able to do those leadership roles like.
Forget all that stuff. I can totally understand because I watch you trying to get things done, but people are constantly interrupting you, calling you, emailing you.
Planning for the future, plan.
So when was the last time you had enough time that you could plan your next step in your career? Well, as your assistant, I can tell you, never, not in the past 8 months.
Strategic planning and handling crisis management. And
That's too generic. Give me the specifics.
future, the strategic planning and handling crisis management.
Hold on.
Want your time as well to be able to do those leadership roles like
Those leadership roles?
planning for the future,
What do you mean by that? You mean planning for your next step in your career?
the strategic planning and
Give me the specific. When was the last time you got a chance to work on the blank assignment, the blank task that we have to do for next year?
handling crisis management.
When was the last time you felt like, or remember when that other thing was behind schedule and you had to put it onto your plate and you had to sacrifice other things to get that done? Be more
And
specific
this
there.
is where I think I can help. How can I help?
Good
I can
rhetorical.
help by giving you back time. And
I think this is when one of these, we'd probably see the second or third slide maybe. Or this is where I can help with you with the superhero flag.
you back time. How do I do that? I can do
Another
that
good
by
rhetorical.
taking on some of your roles, responsibilities, and authority.
Too general. Your roles, responsibilities, and authority. I can do that by blank. Give me the specific task that I can imagine.
For example, some of the boring tasks that you do, like approvals for timesheets.
Done. How can I help? How can I give you back your time? Let me give you 3 ways. One, I can approve the timesheets. You're spending 40 minutes just going, yes, 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 yes. I can do that. What could you do with those 40 minutes?
Approvals for travel on the systems.
Travel approvals is another place that I can give you more time. If we had to think about how much time you do going through travel approvals. Now, what else could you do with that time?
Or I can take on more responsibility in terms of project management. I can sit in some of those project update meetings and
imagine how much more time you would have if I could sit in on the project management meetings and be able to do the follow-ups that you have to do. Or at least do the research for the follow-ups you have to do.
give you back only the key points that you need to know from that instead of you spending hours in those meetings.
So remember last week when there was that 2-hour meeting? Imagine if you had those 2 hours back and I was in the meeting and then we met for 15 minutes and I give you the Coles notes of that meeting.
And to be able to do that, you will have to give me authority and you will have to empower me. And
so how can I take up that position? How can I start doing these tiny little things? Via you.
How do you empower me? By giving me not just a job title, but a role and a position that enables me to do this kind of support.
So what that means, giving me a title and introducing me as this different title over the next 4 months so that people start understanding that I'm your go-to first. They need a quick answer, they should come to me first. If I can't answer, then they can come to you.
And by a role or a position, what do I mean? A role or a position that picks all these different roles that I perform,
Mm-hmm.
and also a role that kind of opens doors and paves the way for me to effectively perform my role and be able to support.
How many times have you said like things like effectively perform my role? My role is this. My role. My role. My role. This is where we could have used and I want to be known for I believe that. So Preethi, what if you had said at the beginning or even here and you say I want to be where you are in 2 years. I believe that I should be your protege. I believe that I should replace you when you get your promotion. And here's how I believe we should do that. As a preface for the specific thing that you're asking for and the long-term goal versus telling me all these generic things.
You
Listen to this again. Listen to this again, Preethi. Hold on. Listen to this.
all these different roles that I perform, and also a role that kind of opens doors and paves the way for me to effectively perform my role and be able to support you in achieving your goals.
If I was going to make a little challenge for you, I would say do this presentation again and you're not allowed to say the word role. Because you see, now that you hear it, how kind of general that sounds. What do you mean? What do you mean? But if you say, I want to be in your position in the next 2 years, the how can be by slowly taking on the boring task like approvals and sitting in on meetings. Very specific. Specific enough that your boss can imagine you doing it, imagine what they would be doing. Especially then you throw it in. Remember that meeting on Thursday? That 2 hour long project management meeting? Imagine if I sat in on that meeting and you didn't have to be there. Because you and I would meet the next day and do a 15-minute recap. What could you have done with those 2 hours? Also, it helps me to get to that stage where I would like to be in 2 years in your role, slowly integrating it in.
So in this regard, I also did some amount of market research in terms of what this kind of a role is called and what's the salary range for this kind of a role in the current market. And this is kind of what I'm thinking of in terms of starting off as a business manager or an office manager doing the role, with a salary range of somewhere between 55 to 65K, and also having a career progression plan that would help me or lead me.
Do you see how you're saying all these things and even you're not listening to it? What do you mean by a career progression plan? All of that could have been in the I want statement, the career progression plan. How formal does that sound? Also, and this is just, we talked about this in the first few weeks, but whenever you're pitching something that involves money and a raise in position, always have an exit point, or always say, or always give me a time limit, because what you're essentially asking him is to approve a whole new role and increase the expenses of his department indefinitely. So having me as your protege so that I can get to that place where I want to be in 2 years and you can get to your next position in the next 2 years. What's that going to cost? Well, here's what I suggest. For the first 6 months, while I'm integrating in and I'm trying these new things, nothing. Except maybe some cards with a new title on it. After 6 months, we recap, and if you find that I'm achieving the role successfully, then we can talk about a salary position for an office manager as an office manager. Much harder to say no to that. Doesn't have to be 6 months, could be 3 months. See what I mean? Then it's like you're basic when you say so it's going to be $65,000 and you have to call me an office manager starting next week, like starting right away when you say yes or no. That's a much easier thing to say no to, or to put, well, let's talk about it some more. But if I tell you it's not going to cost anything for the first 3 months and then we can reevaluate, almost impossible for me to say no to that.
To the role of a chief administrative officer or a chief of staff kind of role. And in short, I would like to conclude by saying I would like to be in a role which is more like a stunt double, where you are the face of the
So
organization.
forget in short, what I'd like to do is conclude with this. You never speak like that, Preethi. You know what I mean? So why not again use Area 47? So after you say the salary things, but you gave them that time constraint because now you know for the future. And you say, so what am I talking about? What does it mean to be in your position in the next 2 years now? It means being your stunt double. It means being the person that goes in those situations that are dangerous for you. Or in our day to day, boring. Making me your boring stunt double.
Looking outward and me being the face of the organization looking inward and in
That was really
partnership
good.
working towards the success of the organization.
You're not allowed to say organization either. What's the company called? And you haven't been talking about the success of the organization. Unless that's what this person's focus is. What you're talking about is the success of your manager. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
So overall, it's not bad, Preethi. I mean, a lot of good stuff in there. Your slides were amazing. You had good transitions. You did try and ask some good questions. We just needed to get into that specifics and forget the formality. And hopefully some of the suggestions I gave you will be something that you can really use in your day to day. So not bad. Well done. And all I'm seeing is this kind of improvement. So congratulations. And we'll see you next week.